Hello friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. So today we're doing a 3 looks 1 palette. This time we are using the Juvias Saharan palette. So on my Instagram stories recently, I gave a list of all the palettes I haven't done a 3 looks 1 palette with, and I always tally the totals, and I ran a poll on the community tab recently with the top 5, and the Saharan won by a lot. I think it got like 35% of the votes, so a decent amount. And this is what it looks like in case you don't know. It's a palette that I hadn't really given too much attention to. I think I'd only used it one time before this video, and it's a pretty palette. I do have a couple issues with it, but I'll get to that at the end. But I did have fun playing with it overall. I'm glad you guys voted for it so I could actually give it some attention since I was basically ignoring it. I created this pretty halo eye. I did a really pretty smoky goldish look, and then I did a pinky half cut crease. So let's get into the tutorials. I'm going to do swatch comparisons with this compared to all of my other Juvias Place palettes at the end, and I will give you my final thoughts and things like that. So let's get to it. Hello, good morning. My eye is primed with the Sigma eyeshadow base, of course. I'm going to dip right into the black called Chad. I'm going to use one of these angled shadow brushes. This one's from Spectrum. It's a B04. And I'm basically just going to kind of start right underneath the lower lash line and just start tapping it. I'm going to start forming a little bit of a wing-like shape, extending outward. When I do this, I usually like to start in the lower lash line too, just because I can really form the angle that I want. And then I'm just going to start dragging it straight across. I don't really want this going high in my crease. I just want this to extend out because I'm going to use other shades to blend it out in a minute. I am sleepy this morning, so I'm probably not going to be super chatty. It's only just now 7. I woke up at 6 because I'm working at 9 and I wanted to make sure I would have plenty of time to film this morning. And I also had to do my hair and stuff because I just washed it yesterday, so it was a flat mess. I'm just dragging this all across the lid in case you didn't catch that. Nothing too crazy. I'm only taking little bits at a time because I don't want crazy black fallout all over my face. And I'm just using the side of that brush just to kind of smudge it to connect it in the very base of the crease. Alright, I am done. Honestly, this is probably how I would have worn it like 5 or 6 years ago. I almost didn't even show you what I'm doing next. I'm taking this shade here, Sokoto, I think. Actually, I'm going to mix Sokoto and Jamila because I don't know if I want it to be that bright of an orange. So I'm going to kind of mix the two. I'm using the small brush from Morphe. It's an M506. And I'm just going to take that right in the crease, like a little bit on top of what I just did. And I'm just going to very lightly start just dragging this around, going back and forth, and just kind of tracing along the outside of what I just did. And now to perfect that blend even more, I'm going to take this neutral here, which is Katsina, and I'm just going to take a kind of medium-sized blending brush, and I'm just going to go right along that tippy top, just continuing to blend and smudge. And this is going to mute out that orange a lot, but I'm fine with that because I didn't necessarily want that orange to scream in this look. I was just using it to kind of help blend out the black. There aren't too many mattes in this palette. It's literally just the 4 that I'm using. So it's kind of, you get what you get. Everything's blending really nice though. I'm not using heavy pressure. I like to use really small strokes. I even like to hold my brush at the very end of the brush a lot of the times just because it kind of forces you to use less pressure rather than squeezing up at the very top. That took me a long time to break the habit of. I used to always choke up on the brush really bad. But I just find when I personally use lighter motions that I get a better result. And you might be different. Maybe it's better for you to use heavier pressure. I'm not sure. Just do whatever works for you. I am not the boss of you. I like the way this looks. It's very sultry and dramatic, but we are not done yet. This is just the basis of what I wanted to do. Now I want to take this Woodabi shade. It's such a pretty gold, like such a pretty gold. I'm taking this brush I used for a black in my Gemini palette look. It's an A07 and it has black shadow that I wiped off over top of it, but I'm fine with that. I'm just going to use that same side. I'm not going to use NYX glitter primer because I'm using this more as a topper, and I'm just going to lightly start tapping this over top of the black. If you wanted more like metallicness and pop and everything like that, you could totally go in with glitter glue, use a lot more product, but I'm just dipping in lightly just to kind of top this over top of the black that we did. So I still want it to look very dark and sultry. Ooh, look how cool that is. I love that. Just gonna take that last blending brush that I used with the neutral shade just to make sure everything flows nicely. Oh, I love this. That's so cool. I'm going to take that exact same Woodabi shade and I'm taking this little pencil brush. This is a Morphe MB27 and I want this right at the base in the front of my lower lashes, just to add a little extra gleam and sparkle. I love some shimmer on the lower lash, especially in the front right here. I think it's just so unique looking. For my inner corner, I think I'm going to take this Iman probably Iman shade that I actually highlighted my face with. I'm going to take a little brush and pop that in my inner corner just for some cute brights pops to make me look more awake, frankly, because I am so sleepy. I would love to just sleep the day away. But that is not happening. Saturdays are very busy for me always. What do I want in my waterline? I say that all the time. I wish I had a gold. I actually do not own a gold eye pencil. I'm actually just going to take this one from Urban Decay. It's called Torch because it kind of goes with the crease shades a little bit. And I don't really feel like using a black, so this is what I'm going to use. I actually think that looks quite nice in my waterline, so I'm going to do the other eye, throw on my lashes, something on my lips, and we will regroup. Alright, this is look number 1. I think it's really pretty. It reminds me of kind of like oil slicky or something like that. I think it's just a really cool effect. I feel good in it. I'm going to go to work all day in it, and it'll be cool. My lashes are the same Pinky Rose Disco lashes, and on my lips I went with the Hola Neon Boom liquid lipstick. I really didn't know what lipstick to pair with this because I didn't want to wear just a nudie nude today. So I went with kind of a color that goes with the eyeliner and the crease colors and things like that. I think this all looks really good together and I'm okay with it. Let's move on to look number 2. Alright, hello. It's actually the same day as look number 1. I just don't really have anything else to do tonight. Zane is playing with friends. He's playing D&D with them, and I'm home alone, and I don't know. Why is my phone going off? Very rude. I want to play with makeup, I guess. I don't really know what I want to do. I do think I want to play with these pinks, so I guess I need to build up the crease first. I really don't have very many options. I'm going to start with this brown shade here, the Katsina shade. And I'm just going to take this medium-sized brush. It's actually the brush I used with that shade in this morning's look for look number 1. I did wipe it off though, so there shouldn't really be too much extra product on it. And I'm just going to start working this through my crease, just really trying to build it up and get as much pigmentation out of it as possible. This crease is for sure going to be quite neutral, but those are literally my only crease options with this palette. If I wanted something more colorful, I would obviously dip into something else, but the whole point of these videos are a 3 looks 1 palette, so that is what we're going to do today. I've been working on vlogging a little bit, guys, since you seem to express interest in vlogs. I don't know how often I will upload them. I was thinking every other week. I don't know when the first one's going to be up. We'll just kind of see. But I also might just do it sporadically, like maybe once I hit a certain time limit, because I'm going to try to edit as I film it. So maybe once I hit like a certain time threshold, I will upload it. I'm going to now take Chad, which is the black, and I'm just going to take the small Morphe M506, which is actually what I use with the black in look number 1. And I'm just going to start packing this in the outer corner and then working it through with a crease to start deepening things up and adding some drama. Because if we're gonna have a neutral crease, we're gonna have a dark neutral crease. And now I'm just going to take that first brush again with a little bit more of that Katsina shade, and I'm just going to start buffing and blending with light pressure just until everything is softened up some. I'm liking the way this looks. It's very smoky and blown out. I think it's cute. So now I want to do kind of a half cut creasy sort of thing. So I'm going to use this flat brush. It's from Pixie. I'm going to use that flat brush, my NYX glitter primer, and I'm going to end up using this shade kind of on the top half of my lid and this Poreless shade on the lower half of my lid, because I just want to use both of those pinks. I think it'll be cute, and I like multiple shimmers across the lid. You guys know that by now. So just taking my NYX glitter primer, just using a little dot of it. Somebody asked me recently if I use the same brush after I do the glitter primer, and I do. You also asked if I have issues with hard pan, and I didn't even think of that being an issue because that's just never happened. If anything, I got that issue more when I would spray my brush. But I've never had an issue with hard pan happening from using glitter glue. So I'm taking that first shade Hola, the lighter pink. And I'm just going to pop it right up here as if I was doing a cut crease with concealer. I haven't done a cut crease with concealer in a while. I mean, I'm at the point now where my glitter primer just does enough on its own. The only time I'm really going to cut my crease with concealer is if I'm using mattes on the crease. But I just love me some shimmer, so it's not too often that that happens. I don't think I've ever used either of these pinks. This one's okay. It's not the most pigmented out of Juvia's Place shimmers I've ever tried. But you know what? It's cute. It's fine for now. It's getting the job done. I just have to work a little harder. I'm going to just flip that brush over and take that, ooh, got a lot of pigment, that Poreless shade. That's going to go on the lower half. Just want to make sure I had the right side of the brush. That's a cute shade. It's very romantic looking. Colors like this just make me think of Valentine's Day. And then I'm just going to flip back and forth between both sides of the brush, adding a little more of each shade where I need to. But really, that's kind of where I want it. And now I'm going to take the brush that I used with the black, no additional product, just to very lightly smudge in the outer corner, just so it flows from shimmer to black nicely. I mean, that's pretty much it. I think that's cute. I'm going to take a little bit more of Hola, the lighter pink. I'm just going to use the tippy top of this brush. I'm just going to pop a little bit right down here. And now for my inner corner, I think I actually want this Udabi shade because, I don't know, I just think it'll look really cute with the pinks. I'm just going to take this Luxie 121 brush and just do a little swirl. Oh, that's so cool. I love this gold. It's such a pretty, just very yellow, almost chartreusey based gold. It's so cool. I think for my eyeliner, I want to use this LA Girl lip pencil in the shade Fiery. I'll probably repeat myself every time I use one of these lip pencils, but it was suggested from you guys that the lip pencils work great as eye pencils from LA Girl, so I've been using them. My eyes have never gotten irritated from it. Just so you know, they work great. For me. They last a pretty long time. I've never gotten any irritation, and they look cute, and they come in colors that you don't really see in eye pencils too often, so it's a win-win for me. But use at your own discretion. They're obviously meant for the lips, not for the eyes. But this is where that's at. I think it's really pretty. I'm going to do the same thing to the other eye, throw on my lashes for no reason, put on my lipstick, and we will finish up. Alright, this is look number 2. I really like it. I think I might like it more than look number 1. I just think it's really pretty. I really like these pinks. I know it's more basic as far as the crease work goes, but I like these pinks next to each other. I think it's really pretty. I like the way the crease looks blended out, and I think this weird kind of gold color in the inner corner really kind of pushes it over the top a little bit. I think it's really pretty. I'm very comfortable in this, although I'm very comfortable in pretty much any makeup look ever. But I don't know. I just really like this look. I went with my same Pinky Rose Disco Lashes. I think look number 3 is going to be their last go round because they are falling apart. And on my lips, I went with the Stuntin' So Juicy Gloss from Colourpop, just because I love this gloss and it was on my table. I guess that's it for look number 2. Let's move on to look number 3. All right, hello, it's Sunday, it's the next day. It is 2 o'clock. We're going to my parents in a little while to have dinner. We haven't seen them in like a month probably. So I'm just gonna get ready. I'm gonna start, I think, with this one here, the Sokoto shade. And I'm just gonna kind of run that through my crease as, I guess, that first shade. Not really so much a transition shade, just that kind of first shade. I think I wanna do a halo eye with this look. So I'm gonna kind of just work on packing it in the outer and inner corner of the eye. And my eye is primed with the Smashbox lid primer, of course, or not Smashbox, the Sigma one. Can you tell the Smashbox one is still on my mind? I do love both of them pretty much equally, the Smashbox and the Sigma. I'll probably repurchase the Smashbox one though after I run out of the Sigma and maybe just go back and forth. I think for the lower lash line, I'm just going to drag it all the way across. I don't necessarily want the lower lash line haloed. I got my new Apocalyptic Beauty bag in the mail last night. I won't have time to film with it for a few days, so it probably won't be up for like, I don't know, a few days after this video. I'm not sure exactly when, but man, it's pretty. Just based off first impressions, those colors look good. I'm just dragging it lightly through the middle when I have less product on the brush. Lovely. And now I'm going to take the brush that I used with the transition shade in yesterday's look and in look number 1, but I'm not taking any more product, but I did use the Katsina shade originally and just used it to help blend out other shadows. But I basically just want the little bit of remnants just to help blend out the edge. So I don't really need that transition shade all in my crease this time. And you could also use a clean brush, but you know, I'm cool with using this because it use shades from the palette, so we're fine. Being resourceful, and I also really need to wash my brushes. Of course, winging it out just a tad bit as I do. Actually, I'm gonna take a clean brush now. This giant brush is from Black Moon Cosmetics, just to swirl along these outer edges. Now I want to take Chad, that black, and I'm just gonna really start deepening up the inner and outer portion of the eye. I'm literally just gonna keep it tucked right here. And then I will blend it out with another brush in a minute. And I'm just using the same brush that I used with the black in the first 2 looks. I guess that is one of the perks with this palette. There's only those couple transition shades, so you can kind of reuse brushes pretty easy. I'm also gonna lightly smoke this on the lower lash line using light pressure because I don't want this to get too overwhelming down here. And now I'm gonna take that brush that I used with that first red shade. No additional product though, just to kind of tap and start blending. And I don't want this black to necessarily go heavily through the middle of my crease, but if it goes a little bit through, then it's fine. I'm gonna constantly wipe this brush off so that it's not too full of black. Ooh, that black goes a long way. Didn't expect it to be this black. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that Sokoto shade just to kind of tap over top of it to help blend it some more. And now I'm going to take that brush that was clean-ish to help blend out the edges to go back through and help blend some more. And now I want to take that giant Black Moon brush just to really buff. I know this brush is gigantic, like it's the size of my eye, but it works good for just big blending in the outer areas. I'm just going to keep kind of going back and forth in this outer corner until I like the way it looks. I'll just go back with various brushes. All the brushes except the black one because I don't really want to add more black into this situation. Alrighty, and now I'm going to be laying down some NYX glitter primer, and I'm just going to use the same brush that I was using for Sokoto. It's a dual-ended Urban Decay brush. I'm going to take the pencil side, and I'm just going to run this little bit of glitter glue all across the lid, even a little bit on that black in the outer corners. Now I want to take this Kaya shade. It's like a shimmery teal, and I want this kind of in the outer portion of the eye, and I'm going to put something else in the center. I'm not going to drag this too far inward. I also think I want to put a little bit of this down underneath eyelashes. Oh, that added a cute little effect. Just going to buff the edges of that just a tiny bit. And then for the middle, I'm taking this tiny little brush with a little bit more glitter glue just because I really want this middle shade to pop, and I do like the brush to be a little sticky. And then I'm going to take the Iman shade that I've been using in my inner corner as well as my face highlight. And this is going to go right in the center to add a nice bright spotlight moment. Ooh, I knew this would be cute in the the middle. And I'm just packing, I'm not really sweeping around. However, I am going to take that first brush just to lightly dust away some of that white. And then I'm really just going to go kind of back and forth and kind of smudge right where that edge meets so that the white and teal can merge together nicely. But I do want this white to stand out a lot and kind of have its moment. Ooh, I think that's so pretty. Take that Iman shade to pop in my inner corner. Ooh, so pretty. I really like this. I think that's really pretty. I think for my waterline, I'm gonna do a teal because why not? That would be cute. This is totally teal from LA Girl. We're just embracing teal for this look. I think that looks really pretty. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other eye, throw on my lashes, something on my lips, and we will finish this video up. Okay, so this is look number 3. I'm in love with it. I think it's so pretty. It's so striking. It wasn't that hard to do. It just took some blending. All of these looks take a lot more blending if you're gonna use that black, just because it's a very pigmented black. It does blend nicely. It just takes a little bit of time. But I love this look. I think it's really pretty. I think the eyelids look so interesting, and I'm gonna be content wearing this for the rest of the day. My lashes are the same Pinky Rose Disco lashes, and I am throwing them away after I'm done wearing this look. And on my lips, I went with the Jeffree Star Coral Fixation liquid lipstick. However, I didn't do it like full opacity. I just kind of dotted around and pat it with my finger because I just wanted a sheer little tint of it. I didn't want it to be super opaque. But yeah, I love this look. Let's finish up this video now. All right, that's it. Those are my looks. What do you think? Which look was your favorite? I thought it was gonna be look number 2, but it's definitely look number 3. I think it's so pretty. It's very sultry. It has that grunginess to it, but it's also just really glamorous and bold. I love everything about it. I feel really good in this look, and I'm enjoying it. Overall, I do like this palette. The quality is good. None of the shadows themselves perform bad of the ones I used. I didn't use Lulu, Zoya, or Senegal. I think I used everything else though. I just didn't really feel like using those more bronzy champagne-y shades. It's just not my vibe. But overall, the quality is good. The metallics and shimmers are very pretty. This one is a little more sheer than I expected, but it's not totally sheer. It builds up fine. My only main issue is just I wish there were more mattes, or at least if one of these wasn't an orangey color. If it was just maybe even a blue would have been really cool, like a matte blue, or even a matte pink would have been really perfect. It's really hard to do a variety of crease action with this palette because you pretty much are just limited to an orangey crease or a brown crease or a crease with black in it. There's no other options unless you're one of those people that enjoys a shimmer in the crease. That's my only real complaint. It's hard to get variety. I definitely had to think a little harder about creating different looks because it can be really easy to do the same kind of look with this palette. But overall, I do like it. Do I think it's like you have to have it? Probably not necessarily. It's not my favorite Juvia's Place palette, but it's also not my least favorite. It's probably more towards the bottom middle, you know? But I did have fun playing with it. I like the looks I came up with. I hope you guys enjoy them too. What do you think of this palette? Do you love it? Do you have it? Do you want it? I just want to chat about it. I'm looking forward to the next 3 Looks 1 palette. As of right now, I don't know what it is, but by the time the video goes up, I'm sure I will have already ran a poll and will have figured it out, so stay tuned for that. That'll be up in probably 4 or 5 days. All right, hello. My swatches are gonna be awful, and I've only done 2/3 of the palette because I ran out of room on my arm. But I'm gonna be doing comparisons with this palette. Oh, by the way, I'm back in look number 2 form. I had more time tonight to do swatches than I will tomorrow. And this is a big project because I have a lot of palettes. I have the Saharan, the Afrique, the Deuce, the Festival, the Magic, the Saharan 2, the Tribe, and the Zulu in alphabetical order. So yeah, this first one is Sokoto, which is the first shade in the Saharan palette. And with that, I just paired Hola from the Festival palette. I almost said the Afrique. And they're similar, however, the Festival one is more orangey, while this one's a little more red. But that's really the only major difference. The next one I'm gonna take is Udabi, which is that gold from the Saharan. And with that, I paired Kofi from the Afrique And what are you? Nubia from the Magic palette. And they're all a different shade of gold, so they're not exactly the same. Next, I'm taking Bororo. I am not saying that correctly. I greatly apologize if I mispronounce any of these. It is not my language. I'm gonna try my best. But that is this shade right here. And with that, I paired Fifi from the Afrique. This one is Nomad from the Saharan 2, and this one is the Pinky Duochrome from the Zulu palette. And again, none of them are really the same. Like, some have a similar vibe, and on the eyes, they're gonna play similarly, but they're not exactly the same. The next one I'm taking is Kaya from the Saharan palette, of course, and that is this one right here. And with that, I paired Aja from the Magic palette and also Kuba from the Tribe palette. I'm also not picking up any of these palettes individually to show you because we will be here all night and that'll get really confusing. The whole point is just for you to see similarities. And I mean, it's kind of similar to Aja, except the one in the Saharan palette has more of a flip to it, more of a duochrome, while the Magic palette one is more just a flat, shimmery teal color. This next one is Zoya, and that one is right here. And with that, I paired Odagwu from the Festival palette and also Bonaru from the Magic palette. And again, none are really the same. They're all a different kind of tone. This next one is a lot, just to warn you. I'm taking Iman from the Saharan palette, of course. That is this one right here. Next to it, I have Angelique from the Afrique palette. Next to that, I have Yuli from the Festival palette. This one over here is Aziza from the Saharan 2, and then we have Koro from the Tribe. You can't really see those other two because they're more of a almost highlight shade, like they only reflect when the light hits it. None of these are exactly the same. If anything, it's the closest to the Yuli shade from the Festival palette, but it's a little different. But only a tiny bit. They're pretty much the same color. Next is Jamila, and that one is down here. And with that, I paired Dakar from the Afrique palette. I paired Zakaya from the Magic palette, and I paired What Are You Called? Taza from the Saharan 2 palette. And again, they're not exactly the same, but I mean, they're all a very similar vibe, just kind of a burnt orange sort of color. And last for now is Senegal. And with that, I just paired Bonaru from the Magic palette. And it's similar, but again, the tone is not exactly the same. This one is a bit deeper. So I'm gonna wipe these swatches off and then we will compare those bottom four. But this is where we're at so far. None are exactly the same. Some are a similar vibe, but we haven't really found any exact dupes yet, except for maybe the white. But that's about it. If I was smart, I would have broken that first one up a little less because I'm only using 3 because there aren't any other matte blacks out of the ones that I own. There might be more matte blacks in the other palettes that I don't have, but out of the ones I own, there's no more matte blacks. So we're skipping him. Next, we're gonna go to Katsina. And with that, I paired just a couple things. It's up here. I paired Kissy from the Afrique palette and Berry Mousse from the Deuce palette, which you can't even see against my skin tone really. But yeah, it's not really the same. This one's a little more peachy. This is a little more tan. But they're transition shades, you know? Next we have Lulu. With Lulu, I simply just paired the Hadaya shade from the Saharan 2 palette, and it's not really the same. I probably could have skipped that one. It's a different kind of thing altogether. And finally we have Fula. And with that I paired a couple things. That one is here. I paired it with Zuba from the Magic palette, Nomad from the Saharan 2, and then the Pink Duochrome from the Zulu. And it's not really similar to any of them. I mean, it's a similar vibe to the one in the Zulu palette, but it's not exactly the same. I don't know, they have their similarities, they have their differences, but that's pretty much where we're at. Saharans, even though it's kind of basic as a whole, it doesn't really dupe out much else that I have, and I have a lot of the Juvia's Place palette, so I mean, that's pretty cool. It's pretty unique. I'm here for it. Let's finish this video now. So those were all the swatches. I hope it was helpful. Who knows? If you enjoyed this 3Looks1 palette video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please hop over to my Instagram. It's beautbean. Follow me there. I post every single day, and don't forget to subscribe here before you leave. I post most days here as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.